So you want to make an impact. You're thinking about starting a business, sharing your voice. How do women do it that handle motherhood, family, and still chase after those dreams? Well, listen each week as we dive into the stories of women who know. This is Call Me CEO. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Call Me CEO. This is Camille Walker, your host, and I am thrilled today because we have Jody Moore on the show. You probably know her. She's the Better Than Happy podcast, and she is also an amazing woman leader in coaching, in both life coaching and now in business too, which I'm super excited about. She has a new program called Business Minded. I actually just joined. And Jody, I just think you are such a beacon of light and positivity and so much hope, and you give women so much strength all around the world. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, of course. So tell us about yourself, tell us about your family and how you got started into this coaching world. I know you shared a little bit about this, well, more than I knew at your conference. And I loved your story so much because I think so many of us listening to this right now can relate to wanting something more, but not exactly knowing how to find it. So please tell us your story.
Okay. Well, I worked in corporate for the first 7 or 8 years of my marriage. I kind of thought I always wanted to be a mom, and I thought I would be a stay-at-home mom, but as life went on, I actually enjoyed working more than I thought I would, and it seemed like our family needed the income, and so I worked traditional route in corporate. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur until I got let go from my corporate job, and things were transitioning. It was sort of my husband was making pretty good money. It sort of felt like, wait, maybe I don't need, quote unquote, need to work. I was still in the thick of having babies and everything at that point, but I felt really lost not working and really missed having sort of something of my own to balance me out. And at my last few years there at corporate, I had been a leadership coach. And so I had been taught a little bit about how to coach people in the setting of corporate. It's coaching sales managers and directors. And I fell in love so much with being a coach that ended up going through the life coach school, just sort of not sure what I was doing. And that just felt like a next right move for me. At that program that I went through at the life coach school, Brooke taught us just a tiny little bit about online business at the end. And I just sort of like something clicked in that, like, honestly, it was maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. She talked about it. I saw how it worked and I got really excited about it. And so because my love of coaching was so strong, and I will say too, that when I went through the life coach school, I realized these tools that I've learned for coaching in corporate are really awesome in corporate, but were helping me so much more in my personal life with being a mother, being a wife, and just a woman in the world. I was getting way more traction from them there. So I felt really called to help those women who were in the thick of raising kids, maybe members of my faith, who I knew weren't going to leadership trainings and seminars and getting all this great personal development. So that's how long story long. That's how I got into coaching.
Well, I love it because I think that you're right. A lot of us who are, our aspiration is to, or ambition is to be a mother. We want to be moms.
Yeah.
And then for some of us, not everyone, because everyone's different, but for some of us, we're like, gosh, I really want more to feel like I'm a full being or a full, fulfillment of what it is that I have to share. And so I love that you say that quote, like, I needed to, it was more of like, I discovered that I wanted to. And I think that it can be a huge leap of faith, especially for women of faith, because we're told, it's one or the other and you have to choose. And I think that now more than ever, because of online and like working remote and starting your own business or even being out in an office somewhere, there are so many more options. Have you found that to be true as well?
Oh, definitely. It's a whole different world today. But I will say this too. I think that, it feels to a lot of women, I'm sure you experience this, that like, if I'm going to work, whether that be starting a business or working for a company or what have you, my children might suffer, my family might suffer, because obviously that's going to be some of my time and attention away.
Yeah.
And I had to come to terms with the fact that if I didn't let myself fulfill some of my own needs by working, then my family's going to suffer. And so either way, they're going to suffer a little bit. Either I'm going to go crazy because, and this isn't true for everyone, but like you said, for me, and sounds like for you, I was like, I got to have something of my own that I'm working on, that I focus on, that is just me, that gets my head on something else, that where I can be strategic and all of those things. So if I don't do that, my mental emotional health is going to suffer. And if I do it, I might have, some time and energy away from my family. They might suffer. So either way, it's not going to be a perfect life.
Yeah,
let's totally just all agree. It's not going to be a perfect. My kids aren't going to have the easiest path, as they're probably not meant to. So I don't think there's anything wrong. If you have a desire, you have an interest, that is God-given. What are you going to do with it? I don't know. I'm not saying everyone should go start a business or get a job, but I don't think that those desires are wrong. And I don't think that our kids are not meant to have to make sacrifices for our sake, even. Just like we make a lot of sacrifices for them. I think that's the way it's meant to be, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. And honestly, a lot of times I think that, through the course of time, women have always been working hard. Always. Like there's never been a season of women working that I'm like, oh gosh, women really were just sitting around. No, never. There have been different. Now we have new conveniences of washing machines and dishwashers and different things like that. And whether a woman is working inside or outside of the home, children are seeing their mothers working hard. And I think that that's right. That's something we can all get behind.
Yeah. And stay-at-home moms are working hard too.
Absolutely.
They're just putting their time into different places. They're at the school volunteering. They're doing the laundry. They're doing what we're not still sitting by our kids going, is there anything else I can get you all day long?
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Your kids are going to be okay.
I agree. Yeah. And that's what I mean by working in the home hard. Like working in the home is hard. And in fact, I have a lot of friends that work or who go to work outside of the home because they said being at home all the time was really hard for me. Like I really struggled. And so, that's where I think each of us just needs to find what that balance looks like for us. And so I love that you've been coaching women and offering these leadership moments, a time of reflection where they can look at their lives in a different perspective than perhaps they would have had exposure to otherwise, which through your podcast and a pioneer in that space, that has been a huge part of the development of your business. Can you tell us about starting your podcast?
Camille, no one's ever called me a pioneer before. That's so sweet.
You are. You're
so nice. Yeah, the way I was taught online marketing, and this was 8 years ago, but it hasn't changed a whole lot, is that you got to be putting out content and you got to go serve and help the people that you feel called to help. And don't even worry in the beginning about how it's going to work or how you're going to make money. You just got to go help people, and you got to make sure that people want the help that you're trying to offer, that there really is a need for it out there, and a need that at some point people would be willing to pay for.